So in 2024, I did a deep dive into my wellness specifically in midlife. And I looked at my sleep and my exercise, my focus, energy levels. Man, I really dove in. And I discovered some really interesting things. And when I sat down to write down all the things I discovered that felt a little unique specifically to this time in my life, right? This middle-aged time. I made a whole list because I wanted to share them with you, and there were so many. I decided to break it down into categories. So I'm going to do a series of 4 videos, and we're going to look at sleep, exercise, energy and focus, as well as relaxation. Stay tuned. Be sure you're subscribed so that you know when those others come out, or I will link below if they are already out for you. But we are going to dive into sleep in this video because I really feel like this is where it begins, right? If you're not getting a good night's sleep, it is really hard to eat well. It's really hard to exercise. It's really hard to do good things for yourself when you're exhausted. Stay tuned. I want to encourage you to choose at least one thing. All of these things are relatively easy to tap into. Some are super easy. It's like, oh, I could do that. I had no idea it would make a difference kind of thing. Comment below. Let me know what it is that you are choosing to do, or if you have any questions or anything. And then stay tuned for future videos. So if you're ready, let's get into this. So if you are new to my channel, welcome. My name is Erdman-Luntz, and I have been a life coach yoga educator for over 30 years. And I also specialize in wellness because it is such an important part of feeling good, right? Like if you don't feel good, it's really hard to do good things for yourself. I have done things to take care of myself for actually since 9th grade. That's when I started exercising and realizing if I changed how I ate, I could change how I feel. Like I tapped into it at a really early age. And I really struggled when I turned 40. I'm going to say more specifically when I turned 50. Things really shifted. All the things I've been doing for myself. I mean, I've always exercised. I have always lifted weights. I've always eaten well. Like I have always done all the things. But when I hit late 40s, 50, things really shifted. And all the things I've been doing, like they weren't working anymore. I gained about 20 pounds. I stopped sleeping well. I started getting really foggy brained and feeling more exhaustion than I ever had. And it was really frustrating. So in 2024, I thought I am going to really focus on me. So what I want to share in this video are a few things I did that really moved the needle on my sleep in particular. And what I was looking for was better, like I wanted to stay asleep. My challenge was staying asleep. So I'd get up to go to the bathroom and then I'd be up for an hour, hour and a half, even 2 hours before I could get back to sleep, or waking up at 4:30 and I'm up for the day. And the second thing I wanted to do is get really good quality sleep. One of the things I got a few years ago was this Lily Garmin watch, and it tracks my sleep quality, my stress levels, and my body battery, which is my energy reserves. And it has made all the difference, really tracking everything. I realized with this watch that I wasn't getting deep sleep. Like I wasn't getting those deep cycles, which if you're not familiar with your sleep, you actually have 4 different levels on a really basic level of your sleep. You've got awake, light sleep, REM sleep, which is when you're dreaming, and then deep sleep. And it's in deep sleep that our brain recycles. Okay, I'm not going to go into the physiology. You can Google it. But we have a glymphatic system, GLYM, in our brain that's like our lymphatic system in our body, and it clears away debris, and it does it during our deep sleep. And I wasn't cycling through deep sleep at all, like never. And I wanted to figure out how to get in more cycles. So I not only got more sleep, stayed asleep, I was getting more refreshing sleep. Want to know how? Let's get into it. The first thing I did, and I think this is a really simple thing that we all can tap into fairly easily is finding my right hours for sleep. So what I discovered is I need to be asleep by 10 p.m. If I stay up any later than that, I hit my second wind, which is just adrenaline hitting, and then it makes it so much harder to fall back to sleep. And I need to be up by 6. And those 8 hours are my ideal window of sleep. Now, what I discovered after playing with it for a little bit, if I went to bed at 11 and woke up at 7, I would feel groggy. If I went to bed at 11 and still woke up at 6, I woke up feeling way more refreshed. So you can play with it for yourself. Now find your window. Some people need to get to bed later. They fall asleep more easily later. Some people are earlier. You've got to find your window. But it's really incredible to find your right hours. It has made such a difference for me. When I started getting deeper sleep, I discovered that a good chunk of my deep sleep is at the beginning part of the night, like before, I'm gonna say 2 a.m. or so, 1 or 2 a.m. That's when I get my deeper sleep. So it kind of makes sense. Every once in a while I'll get deeper sleep later in the night, but usually it's packed right in the first part of the evening. Now, it's not like I do this every single night, and there are mornings when I need to sleep in. I just need the sleep. Like I did not have a good night of sleep, and I just need to let myself sleep a little bit later. It's not perfect, but it is the best window for me, and it makes a huge difference. The second thing I did was to stop drinking anything after 7 p.m. But this is because my challenge is getting back to sleep after I wake up. So because of that, I didn't want to wake up to go to the bathroom any more than I had to. I am definitely, sorry if this is TMI, a 1 to 2 for sure times a night. And if I drink something after 7, I was definitely up twice. I tried to get it down to 1 time a night. So no water, no tea. I mean, I'll take my supplements, my nighttime supplements with a little bit of water, etc. It's not super rigid, but for the most part, not drinking anything after 7 helped me skip at least one of those bathroom breaks to get it down to 1 time a night. Kind of an easy little thing you can do. But if getting up and going to the bathroom is an issue for you and falling back asleep, then try not to have to get up quite so much. Speaking of drinking, another thing I did is I cut way back on alcohol. Alcohol is not something I consume a lot of in general, but I had started to get in the habit of drinking a glass of wine 4 or 5 times a night, sometimes 2. And I realized I linked it definitely to not recharging, so not getting that restorative sleep that actually helps me feel like I have energy, which was measured on my watch. And it also kept me from getting into deeper sleep for sure. It kept me from relaxing, truly relaxing. We're getting to that. So I cut way back, and now I just have a glass of wine on special occasions, maybe once a month or so. And I definitely feel the effect for a good couple of days afterwards. So it's something that was really important for me. The next thing I did, and arguably for me, I think it's the most important step that I took, although all of them have been really helpful. This one is the one that shifted me into both being able to get back to sleep and also get a little bit more restorative sleep, and that is relaxation. So stick with me here, because I know part of you is thinking, duh, of course, but there are actually a few things to think about with this, especially when we've reached that certain age. As our hormones begin to shift, we become more sensitive to stress. We become more sensitive to cortisol. In fact, the weight gain in the belly is associated with higher cortisol levels. Also associated with having a hard time going to sleep, staying asleep, and getting deeper restorative sleep. So here's the thing, and it's why I'm going to do a separate video on this as part of this series, because there are many pieces to this and things that you can do. I'll talk about all the things I did to help myself relax more deeply in that video. But just know, relaxation isn't just numbing out like you get when you have a glass of wine or you're watching TV. You just numb. You're not actually physiologically relaxing. And in fact, you can have very high stress levels. I've seen it on my watch, which measures my stress levels after I've had a couple of glasses of wine, then go to sleep. I will have high stress levels all night long. Even though I sleep People say alcohol helps them sleep better. It's like, well, you might stay asleep, you might fall asleep easily and maybe stay asleep, but you're not getting restorative sleep because your stress levels are high. Same with watching TV, taking a nap. People think that that's relaxing. It'll help you feel better, but you don't actually necessarily get into that relaxation, which is stimulating your parasympathetic nervous system. So going from the stress response into the relaxation response. And that's when the body can really restore and renew in that place. That's when we charge our battery, if you have, that capability with your watch, but it's just where you restore your energy reserves in that place. So giving yourself time before you go to bed, obviously, is going to make a big difference. Giving yourself however long you need, you can test it for yourself. I actually need a good hour and a half of unwinding to help myself get a better night's sleep. But what I discovered that's even more important is to get at least one relaxation session in during the day where I really do unwind. 10, 20 minutes, depends on where you are, depends on how much stress I've had. And I'll share with you those things in the next video, the things that I do in the middle of the day. But if I can get a few really good relaxation moments in, a few minutes of good relaxation, I find I relax much more fully at night. So giving yourself a break during the day once or even twice can make a huge difference. What I recommend is starting with night because that's obviously the most important. That might be all you need. I happen to be a high stress individual. I need a little bit more. You might be the same. So if you find the nights, it's okay, it's helping, but it's not all. Like I need more, then try adding a couple or 2 or 3 in during the day and see if that helps. Oh, and stay tuned. Check out my video on relaxation. I will link to it when I get it done here too. So if it's done, it's already been linked to. But that will be very helpful to see the things that I do that really help me truly relax. I also began to really tap into using essential oils. Now I've used them for years, like 13 years, I think now, with great intention. And I had gotten away from it. Gosh, maybe when the pandemic hit, when we got away from a lot of things, right? And I brought it back in and I really used them with intention, meaning finding the one that really helps me sleep better, or 2 or 3. Sometimes I put them on my feet, sometimes I put on the pillow, the diffuser. I play with how and where I use them. And I will link below to a whole list of some of my favorites. Obviously, lavender, chamomile are fantastic ones. My brand partner, Young Living, has a whole bevy of blends that are really powerful. And these can make a big difference for how well you sleep, whether you stay asleep, and how deep your sleep goes. Finally, I wanted to share with you a supplement that I began taking that helped me start getting the cycles. So that was something that remained elusive for me. I wasn't getting those deep cycles of sleep where my brain could really refresh. And that is so important to me, especially right now, because it helps with focus. It also helps with my brain health, which is something that is of concern for me. I've got some family history of brain diseases, so I'm really doing a lot to take care of my brain. But I had been doing melatonin periodically. Melatonin is not meant to be taken every day because it messes up your body's ability to make it for yourself. I always am looking for ways to help my body do what it's supposed to do naturally, which is heal and be healthy, right? I don't want to ever get addicted to anything. And sleep, over-the-counter sleep meds, sleep supplements, melatonin, most of them are addictive, meaning you're going to always need them. And you might even need more and more in order to get the support. I wasn't interested in that. I wanted to get the support I needed so that my body could do what it's supposed to do naturally. In comes Deep Night Essence. This is also from my brand partner, Young Living. And oh my God, this was a game changer. Okay, if I can find a graphic, I will share with you the graphic of my before sleep, where there's no deep cycles, and my after sleep, where I get after Deep Night Essence, where I get cycles during the night of deep sleep. And I've taken breaks from it just to see where I am, and I sleep through the night, but I still find those deep sleep cycles are elusive for me naturally. This supplement though is meant to be taken daily, so you don't have to take breaks from it. It just has really great essential oils, things that help support your body's natural ability to sleep. So I feel good about taking it every night, but I'm just testing whether or not I'm where I don't need it anymore. Because hopefully that's what I'm going for, right? Is to get a great night's sleep all on my own. That covers it. Those are the main things I did that make the biggest difference for my sleep. And I encourage you to choose one. Any one of these will help make a difference, will get you going down the right path, right? There's probably going to be one that's bigger than the others. Like for me, it was finding my right hours and then deep night essence. Those were the biggest ones for me that made the biggest difference. But I know others can affect other people differently. Oh, relaxation did as well. Yeah, I got a few things that I needed a lot apparently. But if there's any questions that you have, comment below. Stay tuned for the other videos in the series. I will link to them as soon as I release them so you can find them. And if you want to find out any more about the products that I shared, the links are below for that as well. Thanks for joining me. Here's to a great night's sleep.